Mm. Hello? Hello? Okay. So sorry about that. What we'll call technical glitch. Um, all right. So I'm going to continue. Um, I'll just continue from where we stopped. Um, all right. So the next thing for us really is to look now going to the technical tools. We're behind a few minutes behind schedule, but we'll try to make the best use of the time that we have left, right? Really sorry about the technical issue we just experienced. All right, so we will go into the tools themselves now. I will just quickly take us through each one of each of the tools, and then we can I'll just quickly take us through each of the tools, and then we can then take it from there. All right. The first thing I'd like to say here is, okay, before we continue, just in case we experience any more technical issues, or the connection breaks off, I'll change connection. I had to change connection to come back now, so I'll switch. I have like four different sources here with me, so I'll change connection, and I might not show my video as much anymore also to conserve bandwidth, but just in case, you can just give it like 2-3 minutes, then log back on. All right, so the next thing I would like us to do is for us to begin to look at the tools, the individual tools, and what we've done is to put them in various categories, right? So these tools have been categorized such that they can we can begin to take advantage of them, and we can know which categories, because based on what you do, you know which category your business needs right now, or your business would need in the future. So you know which one is really important to you. So the next thing I'll do now is to just run us through these tools, and I'm trying to share my screen with you so you can begin to see that. Please give me a minute. sometimes when technology decides to do what it does, it throws you off balance, but we'll be good. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen with you right about now. Yeah. Where is my slide? Right. Hold on. I'm working on it, guys. Trust me. I am working on it. Alright, we're going. Yeah, I'm back. I believe you can see the tools now. You can see my presentation rather now. So, where were we? We're talking about the tools. I'll just go ahead and take them category by category, like I said. And the first category I would like to talk about is cataloging. And cataloging is important. And it's important for one major reason, right? The major reason why cataloging is important is simple. The first thing that happened, the first behavioral change that happened to consumers when COVID hit and when the lockdown started was that people were forced to start looking online for anything they wanted. So if they needed anything, the first thing that comes to their mind is, where can I get it? Let me check online to find where I can get it. And those guys are your potential customers, right? There are a number of people who have been able to build great businesses. In fact, next week I'll be hosting someone on this webinar who has built a massive business, just selling shoes on Instagram, right? But with that, you need to have some sort of catalog available to your clients or your potential customers such that they can easily access your products or your services without them having to contact you directly, so that it will also enable them make decisions right before they reach you. So two platforms that I would suggest are Wix and WordPress. The first one, Wix, is a platform where you can go to the website is www.wix.com. It's a platform you can go to where you can build a full website, a fully functional website, and you don't have to have prior experience, prior knowledge, prior skills as to how to build websites. You just need to know what you want to have on your website, and that's it. And it's so simple. And hopefully, if we have some time, I can run us through it so that we'll have an understanding of how it works, right? The reason why this is important is because your customers are constantly, there are people out there searching for the products and services that you have to offer. And if they can't find you, then you would have missed out. A practical example that I would give is a big brother of mine who now runs a massive business in Dubai. When the whole internet boom, started, and then companies could now have their own websites, one of the multinational telecoms company wanted to come to Nigeria, and they were looking for someone to help them settle in, someone to help them, with some basic things, right? And they went and searched online. Now, one thing we must note here is that he was new in this business, but for some reason he just felt like he needed to have a website. There were other big names who were doing or offering this same service. But when these guys searched online, it was only his business who had a website, and then they contacted him and he became their representative in Nigeria during their entire move down to Nigeria to set up. And he made a lot, millions from that transaction. So that's just to tell you the power of having your presence on the internet, and why it's important for you to have not just have your presence, but have a fully functional website where people can see your products and see your services. Wix.com is one. You can go there right now, or maybe don't go there right now. Don't go there right now. Go there after this webinar so you're not distracted, so that you can go through the webinar and also see the other tools. Right. So that's one. The next one is WordPress. WordPress is similar to Wix.com, but WordPress you directly with your card and all of that. WordPress, setting up a business. The e-commerce part will work better if you're setting up a business in the in the US, right? Because Wix is a US company, and then they're able to process payments for businesses in the US. But WordPress, you can use WordPress to build for any business, even if you're in Nigeria. And I'll show you how you can also plug in a payment gateway to that, so that you can begin to receive payments on that website. And Wix and WordPress are actually free. That's the interesting thing about it. They are free. They're free tools for you to use. You can access them at any time, and you can use them for free, right? So that's for cataloging, so that people can know what you do, your product, services, and the pricing. Yes, tip here before I move on from this, a very important tip. When you are putting up your product and service, we're past our time. Please give me a few 15 more minutes so that I can wrap all of these tools up. When you're posting up your product, and don't put the product and then tell them to contact you for price or contact you for more information. No, decision. So always make it easy for them to make the decision by providing them with all the information they need, the price, and then if possible, do it such that once they make that decision, they can place the order or pay you immediately. Because the way things are going nowadays, different things are constantly seeking your customers' attention. Their daughter's school fees is there, they have their car can have an issue. So right there and then, when they've made the decision, you must make it possible that they can also make the payment immediately. If they go, they might not come back, right? So that's a tip for this when you're setting up your website. And if you are in 2021 and you're doing a business and you don't have a website, I wanted to say I'm sorry for you, but I'm sorry for you. I think you should have a website. I think in 2021, every business should have a website, no matter how little, even if it's just a one-pager that describes what you do and how people can contact you. It's important that you have that website. With that also comes customized emails like hello@gorimakpa.com, something like that, right? Next is e-payment. I mentioned earlier that once your customers interact with your product or service and they know what you do, you must make it easy for them to be able to make that decision and possibly even make the payment, right? There are two tools or platforms that I would recommend for you to use, but I would actually recommend one above the other, and I'll say why. Paystack and Flutterwave are platforms that enable you to receive payments online with ease, right? And they are easy to set up, easy to use, easy to interact. Now, one interesting thing with Paystack is that Paystack has now recently launched a product that they call Storefront. With Storefront, right from your Paystack account, and to open a Paystack account is free. Just go to paystack.com. You can open a Paystack account. Right from your Paystack account, you can actually create a fully functional store with products and pricing and description. And right from there, you can share it with you can share the link with as many people as possible, and they can visit your Paystack store and make payments and purchase goods and services from you. Right. So that's why I'll recommend Paystack, and I'll also recommend Paystack because we're really proud of them. Paystack is one of the companies within the Event-Oven Ventures platform family. They got acquired last year for $200 million. Every time I say that, it just gives me joy. Right. So I'm really proud of Paystack. But I think you should visit paystack.com and try to set up an account. It's free. In fact, you can start receiving payments right after you set up your account. And then you can sort out the other parts, the other compliance parts later, maybe in a week or so. So it's so easy to set up, and it's important that you have this because we're in a phase of our of our world now, where people want to be able to make payments. People have to be able to make payment from the comfort of their homes. We've gone past that time where you tell people to come and to bring money to your shop, or no, nobody wants to do that anymore. This is 2021. Hello. So you need to do it. You need to position your business such that you can easily receive payment. Excuse me. A number of people, most people do not know what they are missing out on and how many customers they lose out. Excuse me. Excuse me, sorry about that. So most people do not know how many customers they lose because they do not have a platform for their customers to be able to make payments from the comfort of their homes. If I go online and I want to buy goods or services, and I come across two vendors offering the same service, one is offering me an opportunity to be able to make payment right there and then. One is saying I should bring the payment, I should come and visit their store or come to their shop or whatever. I'll probably go with the one that will allow me make payment and can ship to me and can reduce that barrier of me acquiring or getting that product or service. So that's why this is very important. All right. At this point, I'll just run through the remaining tools. E-commerce. E-commerce is now is gaining grounds across the world, and like I've mentioned, because of COVID and the lockdown, we now no longer have a choice but to take all of our products and services online if you really want to make impact and you want to make a lot of money. The biggest, the richest man in the world, although they say he's no longer the richest man, they now say that Elon Musk is the richest man, right? But Jeff Bezos became a billionaire by owning the world's biggest e-commerce website. So e-commerce is big, right? Shopify is one. Shopify it's an e-commerce tool that enables you to set up an online store. It's not as straightforward to set up as the Paystack storefront that I said, but it's also not so difficult. If you go to YouTube and you check how to set up Shopify, you'll see various videos there that can help you. It will help you set up a full e-commerce website, and then you can begin to sell and make payment and display your products and services and begin to make payment. WooCommerce is the same thing. WooCommerce works better with WordPress. So if you're setting up WordPress, you can also plug in WooCommerce. And I wouldn't go into details of this because I've already given you two other options that you can use to set up an online store for your business, right? So I wouldn't bother going into it. But if you want to know more about this, I put this there so that you can also read up and see all the possible options that you have. Marketing is big, is really important. If you have products, you have services, and people don't know about it, people do not know what you're offering, what your offer is, what your pricing is, the value you're proposing to them, then you probably wouldn't make any money. And if your business doesn't make money, then you don't have a business, right? So marketing is important, and social media marketing is big, is huge. It's the best thing that has happened to our generation, right? Imagine you can sit down. Like I said, I have a friend who has built a massive business from just selling shoes on Instagram. Now our Instagram account has about 55,000 followers, and she's made millions of naira from that business, right? So I was having a chat with her yesterday, and she was saying that she will soon expand the shoe shop. She's now setting up a massive shoe center around Gudu in Abuja here in Nigeria. So that's to tell you the power of social media marketing. There are a number of this in itself is an entire webinar, and next week we'll bring an expert. I'll bring my friend who is an expert to come and talk to us about how you can build an empire from social media marketing, like build your business and really blow it and make it big through social media marketing. So she'll be with us next week. So next week we'll go deeper into the marketing bit, so I wouldn't go deep into that now. Conferencing is also very important. Now we've gotten we're our world has slowly morphed into a world where we try to avoid physical meetings because of COVID, and we are being advised to learn to live with COVID because it seems like it's not leaving us, and COVID is not going anywhere. Right. So, because of that, a number of people, we now don't have a choice but to have Zoom calls and video conferencing for us to have meetings, right? Of course, we all know Zoom. We know Zoom. Zoom is a very popular one. Then the one here is Hangout. It's called Google Hangout, and this one is called Google Meet. Wait, no, this is Google Meet. This is Google Hangout. Sorry, I mixed that up. All right, they are both by Google, right? And they are meant for social interaction and video conferencing. So Google Hangouts is actually free. Zoom has a free version. They also have a paid version. So you can take advantage of them. And please try as much as possible to interact with potential clients, potential customers. And you don't have to wait for you to be able to set up physical meetings. I've come to realize that nowadays, when you request for Zoom meetings, people tend to take you serious. It has this effect like, "Ooh, you want a Zoom? Okay. You seem serious about this." All right. So it's a psychological tactics that I learned recently, that once you're having a conversation with someone and something like, "Do you mind if we have a Zoom call next week to talk more about this? Do you have some time, maybe like a 30 minutes window that we can do?" Like, "Oh, you're being professional. Okay, let's do a Zoom call next week." I've seen that work a few times, so I think you should try it out. All right. So, summary of what I'm saying there is, as you're trying to build your business, I will encourage you to try and leverage partnerships that can help you grow your business, stores that you can partner with, businesses that are doing things that are similar, and you don't have to go and meet them. You can set up virtual meetings for you to start those conversations. Crisp is another good tool. What Crisp essentially does is it helps to block out background noises, especially if you're working from home or you're running your business from home and you have children or you have people that can distract you, or you're working somewhere where voices can be coming into your call. You can use Crisp. It helps to block out background noises. And then of course Skype has been there since ages past. Tasks and scheduling. I often say that your business would grow to the extent of how you're able to manage your time, right? A lot of times we wake up in the morning and then we just go ahead at it and say, "This is what I want to achieve today," but we never really plan out what our day would look like and what we would use those 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour to do and to achieve. So having a place where you can visualize your time and your day and what you want to achieve is really helpful. Also, it also makes it easy for you to put yourself into other people's schedule, because sometimes, we've entered, and I gave a talk sometime, I think 2 months ago, and in that talk I mentioned that we've entered a world where you either collaborate or die. And if you're going to be collaborating with people, you must be able to learn. You must learn how to manage your time and how to also manage their time. And for you to be able to do that, this is very important. Google Calendar is a very key tool for you to be able to manage your time and know what you want to do per time for each hour of the day. You can also use it to schedule. Maybe when our social media expert comes to talk to us next week, she'll talk more about this. But you can use your Google Calendar to also schedule your posts for your client engagement, your posts, the posts you want to put on social media, and a number of other things like that. Google Tasks also helps you do the same. It helps you to outline the tasks you want to do, and under each task you can have descriptions and subtasks, so that as how do I put it? Let me put it this way. Say you want to open a new shop, for example. Opening a new shop is a task, but under that opening a new shop, there are some minor things that you need to do. For example, you need to scout for a shop, you need to raise money for it, you need to put together a list of all the things you need in the shop, a number of things like that. So with Google Tasks, you can create all of those things, and as you are getting them done, you can be checking them out. And before you know it, you see that you've achieved much more when you actually have those tasks written down. They say when you write a vision down, you are more ignited within you, and the universe begins to work with you to be able to achieve it. So Google Tasks is somewhere you can write those things down and you can begin to tick them off as you do it. And it has a psychological effect. See, every time you tick off a task done on your to-do or on your task list, it gives you more, is it adrenaline they call that? It releases some sort of chemical into your brain, releases some sort of chemical into your system that then gives you more energy to want to do more. So it also has effect on your productivity. Collaboration is also very important. Like I said, we've entered a world where you either collaborate or die. So because of this, you might have to work with people who are not necessarily in the same location with you. One of the things, and I think this is one of the topics that we'll talk about sometime in the course of this webinar series, which is how to set up remote teams. And we have an in-house HR and people management expert. Her name is Jane. Jane will come at some point, maybe in a few weeks, talk to us about how to set up remote teams for your business, no matter how small the business is, so that you can take advantage of them to grow your business, and they don't have to be full-time staff, and they don't necessarily have to be in the same location with you. I mean, trust me, it is amazing. If you can get that done, oh God, it's really, really amazing. So Jane will talk more to us about how we can set up these remote teams and how we can manage them to grow and use them to grow our businesses. But once you get to that point, you're going to need tools like Slack, Trello, Asana, Google Drive, and all of that to be able to collaborate effectively. Slack is essentially for team communication, so you can communicate within yourselves, and you have all these communications documented, and they can be segmented into different topics, different focus areas, and all of that. Trello helps you to manage tasks as well. It's like an advanced version of Google Tasks. Asana is similar to Trello. Google Drive helps you to store stuff like your catalog and a number of other things, your documents, pictures, a number of things. Sometimes clients will say, "Oh, can I see the work you've done?" And then you're saying, "Oh, sorry, I'm coming. Let me. It's on my other phone. It's on my laptop. It's on this." With Google Drive, you can always have all of these things online, and whenever somebody asks you on the go, you are ready to open your device, go to Google Drive and share it with them right there and then. And the ultimate, the Oga Patapata, the general overseer of all the tools that I'm sharing today is Google Suite. You see, Google has done so much good to the world that we do not give them enough credit for. Google Suite is loaded. Google.com alone is an empire, is a gold mine, right? You see all these tools that I've shared with you. You can learn about them, and you can even learn about more tools from Google by just searching Google for some of these tools. But one that I would really like to share with you before I go to that, let me just say that with your Gmail, nowadays almost everybody has a Google Mail account, right? With your Gmail, you can access all of Google Suite for free. However, you might have limitations, so you might want to upgrade at some point. But for a start, most of Google Suite, like Google Slide, Google Sheets, Google Calendar, Google Drive, they are free. YouTube is free, Google.com is free, Gmail is free, so you can access these tools for free, right? But what I would recommend, and this is the last thing I would say on the tools before we continue, is that the biggest tool that will be the most useful and will do you the most good, right, is YouTube. You can learn almost anything. You see all these tools I've told you about, you can learn how to use them and become an expert in them on YouTube. You can learn how to grow your business better on YouTube. You can take courses on YouTube. In fact, there was a guy who won Olympic gold medal in one of the Olympics in the past. The guy learned how to throw javelin on YouTube and went ahead to the Olympics and won gold. That's the power of YouTube. So please, if you've not taken anything away from this webinar, take the fact that you can learn how to anything on YouTube. So please, all these tools I've talked about, I wish we had enough time to go through them, but time is gone. Other tools that I will advise you to try out is Accountiera and Zendesk. I wouldn't go into so much details now because of time, but I would like you to just look them up right after this. Finally, digital tools allow you to run your business effectively and efficiently by simplifying processes and reducing the cost of doing business. So please, let's try as much as possible to take advantage of these tools, and I believe that as we do that, we'll begin to see progress in our businesses. Any questions? I don't know if we have any questions before I continue. Okay. Do we have questions, please? Hello. All right. So, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this webinar. It was amazing. It was great to have you guys. I hope it was helpful. I hope you learned something. I don't know if you have any questions. If you have any questions, you can just leave it in the chat box and I can take them before we close. I was really hoping that I would have time to do a demo of at least one of the tools, but unfortunately our time is fast spent, especially because of the technical issue that we had at some point. So, any questions? All right, in the absence of questions, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Like I had described, she built a really massive business from Instagram, and that's quite impressive. And we'll be hosting her here to tell us how she did it and how others can take advantage of social media as well to build businesses. Okay, so it seems someone is trying to type something. Let's see. In the absence of questions, I guess we can go ahead and end this webinar. Thank you very much. I wanted to do something. I wanted to do a giveaway. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me and if you're interested in the giveaway, just say hi. Say hi in the chat box so I know you can hear me. All right, I'm waiting. Okay, so nobody's saying that, so I'm not doing the giveaway. Okay, good. All right, thank you very much for joining. We'll see you again next week. Bye. Oh, you can't hear me? Okay, Cindy. Oh, next week. Next week we'll have a guest, and I hope we'll see you and we'll be able to take advantage of these things for our businesses. Thank you very much. See you next week.